I'll intro us in a few. I gotta share this. It's streaming right now, by the way. It's just running. It's just running the stuff in the background. It's just running the. What's going on, everybody? We are back with another NDP episode 3, the Nicktendo Direct Podcast. Recie's in the chat. Thank you for stopping by, bro. 444C, what's going on, man? I got my buddy, good friend, longtime gaming friend since the Destiny days, since Destiny came out. Saltiest Gaming, what's going on, man?
What's up, everybody? Just got back from the gym. Did some cardio. Got my dog in my lap. Apparently, he wanted to join us on the podcast. So everybody say hi to Arlo. What's up, Arlo?
What's up, Arlo? So what you're telling me is you're living a good life right now.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Awesome.
It's Father's Day. Watching my kid play video games is the dream come true for a gamer. You know how it is, right, Nick?
Yes,
watching
yes.
kids play. So
yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, anyway, man. So, I mean, last week was a big week in video gaming. I mean, clearly it was E3. E3 started, what, June 9th, June 10th, somewhere around there. Started there, and it carried all over to Friday. Now, of course, the big shows were over by Tuesday, but there were still the festivities throughout the rest of the week. So we're just going to do a quick recap of that, and then we're going to get into our topics for today. We are going to be talking about the Sony Fortnite controversy, Wolfenstein 2 port on the Nintendo Switch. Also, panic button hints at a new port announcement. What could it be? Yoshi delayed till 2019. Is that good or bad? And Reggie from Nintendo hinted that there is more to show in the next weeks and months ahead. And of course, we might touch on some Octopath Traveler news. But first, as always, we're going to get into what everybody's been talking about all week long. And that is, of course, E3. E3. We're just going to do our quick recap. We're going to start with, of course, your specialty, and that is the Xbox department. Xbox, I feel like, came out swinging and had a good conference. Now, there's a lot of people out there saying, well, they didn't show a whole lot of first-party games. They don't really care about games that much if they're not showing first-party games. Oh, I mean, look, man, it's going to take a little bit. You know, honestly, that's what I think. And Phil Spencer came out and showed exactly what needed to show, showed that they were dedicated to making games in the future. And I know there's some people out there salty. Go ahead and correct these people and let them know how this press conference for Xbox was and how big of a win this was for that company.
Where do we start, right? They start the show off with a Halo demonstration on a new engine, Halo Infinite. When the game started first playing, they showed wildlife and different scenes and stuff. I didn't know it was a Halo game, honestly. And then it looks like they're going back to their roots. It looks like they're spending a lot more time on this Halo game. It's been confirmed that it's going to be a follow-up to Halo 5, which is nice, but that wasn't that well received. And people were saying that they're kind of getting tired of the series as is. So, you know, Microsoft wanted to start the show off with a bang, and they did. This game, this demonstration, it was a tech, you know, demo. There wasn't like a game, like actual gameplay shown.
Right.
But from what was shown, people are highly impressed. You know, it's to the point where Digital Foundry almost questioned whether or not this is actually real, because I guess the resolution was over 4K. It was 60 frames a second. Just looked awesome in person. So they're just, you know, first of all, I just want to say that they took their time on this conference, and you can tell that they're invested in gaming again. There was a time where, you know, they're called budget soft for a reason. They were on verge, you know, of going away, and a lot of people don't believe that, but it's true, you know. So
right. I mean, with the old leadership, you know, at the time, I just remember that quote, you know, they were saying, well, if you want to stick to gaming and you want to stick to gaming and you don't want a new console that's focused around entertainment, we have a console for you, and that's the Xbox 360. I remember them saying that at that one at E3, and just they've come a long way since that quote in 2013, like a long way. Yeah.
So the main thing that stood out to me is the fact that, you know, they showed a bunch of games, you know, game after game after game after game. And then they showed their commitment to gaming through first-party titles like Halo Infinite, new engine, new approach. Gears 5 looked outstanding. Probably the best-looking game at E3, in my opinion, just the way it looks.
Okay.
New approach to that game. The developer for that specifically said that lead guy at the Coalition, Ferguson, he said that the Gears 4 was, they took a safe approach to it because they were a new studio tackling a well-established franchise. So they played it safe, and it was showed in that game. But if you saw footage of this game, they have Kate as the main character. She's on a quest, very open world feeling. They have melee weapons in the game. It feels different to me, you know, but it looks the same, if that makes sense. And we see some of that with established franchises like Mario Odyssey, God of War. If you have an established franchise that is successful, you need to change it and adapt it for the future so people don't get bored of it. So that was cool, right? I watched that last night like 10 times again because it was that good. So
right. All right. So what I like I said, I gotta agree with you. What I liked about Xbox is the fact that they kept it about games, and they kept it moving, and they had a lot of good announcements there. Like I said, the first party games will be coming later, but they did announce the investment in studio, so we know they are coming. The biggest one that I liked was the purchase of the partnership with Ninja Theory, however you want to put it, with their creativity in games. That is the one I am most looking forward to. So moving on to the next conference, and that was Sony. And I have to be honest with you, dude, what Sony showed were great games. They showed really good games. I mean, all the games that they showed looked really good. Death Stranding looked great. Last of Us 2 looked great. Ghost of Tsushima looked amazing to me. But the execution of the conference was just Snorefest. You know what I mean? Like, you come out with a guy playing a banjo for Last of Us, and you set the setting for a trailer. You're in a church. Okay, whatever. And then you wait 20 to 30 minutes between that to show us some more things, because you wanted to move everybody from that church to the main amphitheater that you were in. It was just odd, bro. I'd never seen a press conference like that. Like, what we were watching it together. Like, give your impressions real quick of that Sony conference, because like I said, the games were great. The games were nice that they showed. It's just, what in the world were they doing or thinking with the way they were presenting these games?
I just think it comes down to the fact that they really haven't been challenged much this whole generation. You know, they've been on top. They're nearing 100 million units sold, so they're kind of winding down this console generation. The whole presentation, if I could talk, was strange, in my opinion. It just seems like they didn't have a lot of content to show, so they just... I think we timed it out as like 30 minutes for the first game to get shown, you know, and then they do, you know, the move people, and then that church setting was odd, and then just the pacing was off, but the games looked beautiful. But in all honesty, it's just a copy paste from 2016, which was a copy paste from 2015. So they show these games so early that it's just a repeat for these conferences. And I think you see this in the way the games were that were showed. There's not really any surprises, and that's just what you get when you show games 3 or 4 years in advance, 5 years in advance. So
true. Absolutely. Like I said, it was just odd to me. I had never seen anything like that. Like, that was just odd to me, the theatrics of it, and they kind of just didn't focus too much on games, but they showed the games they needed to show. But either way, I enjoyed the time, but I was just baffled by that E3. So we're moving on to the next one, and that is of the big three. That is Nintendo. You slept through this one. Did you go back and rewatch any of it?
I caught the highlights and stuff, but there wasn't much there, apparently. It was interesting. I don't know. There weren't many surprises. So, what do you think, man?
My honest opinion with the Nintendo Direct was, this. It was about a B- to C+ Direct. Because they did show some good games there. They announced Fortnite, and that was a huge hit. They announced Paladins, but we already knew that we were getting Paladins because Hi-Rez kind of snuck that one out there before E3 started. But so we knew we were getting that. They announced a bunch of good indies. Overcooked. They kind of slitted the fact they were getting Dragon Ball Fighter Z in there. They didn't really go over that. They just kind of slipped that in. That's coming to the Switch. There was a ton of meat and potatoes in the middle of that they just glazed over quick. Why? All because of Super Smash Brothers. Now, I get it. They kind of, at the March Direct, just showed us that Smash Brothers was coming, and that was it. There was nothing gameplay-wise they showed. We got hints here and there, so I get it. You had to show a lot of that game during E3. My only issue is you had 3 days worth of tree houses that you did throughout the rest of the week that you easily could have just done it then. It showed us a little bit, showed us the characters, and then gone over the rest of the details in the treehouse events. Because that's what they did anyway. I mean, so you had the Direct and you had the treehouse events. I mean, if you went back and watched the treehouse events, it was either the Splatoon tournament, the Smash Brothers tournament, or the analysts playing Smash Brothers and telling us all about Smash Brothers. Like, you could have literally done that during the treehouse and could have actually announced these games that Nick, you kind of brushed over.
Here's an interesting thought, because you know how they had these directs every month or whatever. So everybody was all about Nintendo having these directs that had some pretty big announcements in them. So like Smash was announced at a direct, which was weird, right? So then Xbox was held at that same standard for their Inside Xbox announcements every month. Do you think it actually hurt Nintendo to drop that knowledge via a direct and then have the same shit to show at the conference, have very little, because they've been releasing information at these directs? Like, do you think it actually counteracted what they wanted to do, because since E3 is so big?
I don't think they shot themselves in the foot, because like I said, if you go back and rewatch it, there's a lot there. They just brushed over Fortnite. They brushed over all the games that were coming. They brushed over just a lot of their future releases, and they focused on Smash. They gave us a little bit of Pokemon in the beginning. Okay, that's fine. And then next down the line was just, oh, here's this game. Here's this game. They had a new IP that they announced at the very beginning and didn't even go over that. What was it called? Daemon X Machinima or Mishima or whatever it was called. It was pretty much a mech version of Devil May Cry. They showed that at the beginning, and then that was it. And that's a brand new IP for Nintendo. Like, so they kind of just showed that, but it just seemed like they were 100% focused on Smash. And I get it. That's gonna be your big banger for the year. It's coming out in December. Fans want to see. Fans have it. Fans want to see more of it. I get it, but 30 minutes of your direct need to be dedicated to that? No, it didn't need to be. Because like I said, you had 3 whole days that you could have, of treehouse events that you could have covered. And I mean, and that's what I feel like. I don't think they blew it with their announcements. And Nintendo didn't even announce this. These were just leaks. And this is the first time we've seen Nintendo have some crazy leaks. You know what I mean? Like, they were having leak after leak after leak, and Nintendo hardly has leaks. And so I feel like those leaks just ruined it for Nintendo. But at the same time, that Direct just, you might as well just call it Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Direct, because at that point you spent 17 minutes on a bunch of small announcements and just let Sakurai just talk about Smash Brothers for hours, for minutes. And then as soon as that Direct was over, Sakurai's there in a treehouse talking about Smash Brothers. Like, it was just a lot. It was just a lot. So I mean, it was a great, but I have to give it a C+. I enjoyed what I saw, but man, a lot of Smash Brothers, bro. But that's what they expect to be the banger down the road. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be one of, do you think it's going to be the top selling game when it comes out, or?
Well, this is the only game that's going to compete with Red Dead, isn't it? Isn't Red Dead Redemption? Yeah. So this is the only game that's going to be competing with Red Dead.
When does Pokemon come out?
Pokemon comes out in November 16th. So Pokemon's going to compete with Fallout 76. And then
honestly, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but I think that Pokemon game might give it a run for its money, just for how successful Pokemon Go was, you know?
Yes, so. I think alone, because right now I think the last thing we heard about NPD, the Switch, was like 17, 18, 19 million sold already. At this point, with Pokemon Go alone, with the way they're marketing it and what they're expecting it to do, and then Smash Brothers alone, they're gonna smash that 25 million number, I believe. Oh yeah, that they set for themselves by the end of this year. They're gonna smash it. They're gonna smash it easy. And those are gonna be the two big bangers of the year. And speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and go over this real quick just because I want to brush over it. Because we're talking about games this year. There were a few games this year that people were expecting to be announced.
And they weren't.
And Yoshi being one of them. Yoshi was showed last year at E3. And so this has people kind of worried that Yoshi might be in a bad spot as far as development goes. I don't know too much about that. But I mean, what do you think about this real quick? Because they went ahead and revealed it, and you went ahead and touched on this with what Sony did. Remember what you said, Sony would reveal games years down the road, and then it never came out, and people were kind of freaking out. And Microsoft did the same thing with Scalebound, and then Scalebound never came out. What do you think about this? Relate that to the whole Crackdown and Scalebound issue.
Yeah, it's a big argument when it comes to these press conferences, because there's one side that says, hey, show the game, it doesn't matter if it's a CG trailer, just a title or whatever, just get the information out there, get people pumped. But what people don't realize is once you set that precedence for a game coming out, they're gonna keep asking about it and asking and asking and asking and asking, and if you don't present the goods, then you know how social media is, they go,
that's one,
they go in true. You know, so if you're going to announce a game, you know, before you know it's specifically going to come out, you better be damn sure it comes out, because canceled games aren't met with lots of positivity. Let's just put it 100%. That way. You know?
And I mean, in this game and Metroid Prime were two that were announced last year. And we're showing that, hey, these games are down the road. But Yoshi was the only one that we actually got a gameplay trailer for. They actually showed a gameplay trailer of what it was. It doesn't have a title yet, but the title is rumored Yoshi's Tilted Island or whatever. But either way, it was just odd. But now they say it's for sure coming out next year. But it had people worried, but they still don't have a date on it. And it just kind of has people worried down the pipe. And like you said, sometimes that's the gamble you run with showing something early, and then all of a sudden it doesn't pan out. I don't think it's a huge deal per se, but it is kind of telling that they revealed this game and it seemed like, hey, we're gonna get this next year, the way they showed it, and then all of a sudden, no, we're not. It's taking another year for it to happen. Metroid Prime, that's a different story, but this one's the big one.
Yeah, honestly, Yoshi's one of my favorite characters. You know, he just, I don't know, he's always been up there when it comes to Mario. So it's interesting to know, but who knows really what's going on behind the scenes, because companies will say things and then do others, you know. So who knows if it's actually going to come out or not or whatever.
I would assume it is. I have faith that it will. It's just, you know, that's just an odd that seemed to have happened. So moving on to another one, Panic Button, and these two subjects go hand in hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk about this one. Wolfenstein 2, it has been come out that it's going to require you to have 21.8 gigabytes of free space for this game. Now, rest in peace, your Nintendo Switch internal storage if you don't have a micro SD card, because you only get 32 gigs of internal storage. So 21.8 1.8 gigabytes is, I mean,
Oh my
more
God.
than half.
Yeah.
And so that is ridiculous. So rest in peace, your micro, your internal storage for that. So look out for that if you're gonna get Wolfenstein. But what I wanted to talk about was Panic Button, the team that ported Wolfenstein to the Switch. They also ported Doom as well, and they went ahead and snuck kind of jabbed us with a little saying that they are working on another major port, and it is expected to be announced next month. People are speculating. I know Reggie Lopez, I don't know if he's still in the chat or not. We were talking about it in a few streams. People are kind of wondering what it is. Now, I immediately go to Bethesda because the last two big games that they've done has been Bethesda. And the one I immediately go to is Fallout 4 or Fallout 3, one of those two. Or maybe it could be a new game that they're working on right now. Maybe it could be a new Doom, or maybe it could be Rage. Who knows? But what do you think this game could possibly be?
Well, I hope it's not Fallout 3, because
right.
If you go back and play that game, it's kind of rough. You know, no ADS. It looks kind of rough, even on the newer consoles. You know, I was playing it on my X. It's just, I don't know. It didn't age well. So I think Fallout 4 would be a great game for the Switch to port that over. I think it'd be very popular. It's an awesome game. I remember pouring hours and hours into that game, and it's just amazing. So that would definitely be my guess, you know. So
that's what I think too. Like I said, I don't know what other possibilities it could be. We already have Skyrim on the Switch, so that's not one. ESO maybe. I mean, I don't think that's possible, but
I don't know.
But ESO maybe. I have no clue.
That file size for ESO,
right?
Jesus. On the Xbox, it's like 100 gigs or something. So I don't think it would work.
Yeah, but I don't think ESO. But I mean, I'm just listing things off the top of my head. So I really think it's gonna be Fallout 4. That just seems like the perfect fit. If they've already done Doom and then Wolfenstein, it seems like Fallout 4 would be one.
So Victor says, you don't think it could be the new Fallout? I don't think so. The new Fallout is going to require some higher tech than the Switch's currently has available. So I would probably put that at a like a 1% chance that game would ever hit the Switch.
right. I don't think it'd be Fallout 76. More likely it's probably gonna be Fallout 4. That's what my guess would be. Like I said, it just seems like that would be the perfect fit in the next game in line for them to do. But who knows? Maybe it's something crazy. Maybe it's Overwatch. you never know.
Hey, surprisingly, Overwatch doesn't take that much power to run, and they could downgrade it to 30 frames a second or something like that.
I think Fortnite. I think Overwatch is very possible. Ryuko says I think it's going to be Nier Automata. Possibly. That's another one. I know that would be good for the Switch for that title.
Actually, I could comment on Nier. I don't think that's the case either, but I don't know. How soon is this port going to be coming out?
They said in the next month. They said it will
be
announced.
It's definitely
they said
not
it'll be announced in the
Nier,
next month. Now, when does it come out? Nobody knows. But they said it will be announced in the next month.
Platinum commented on Platinum Games or whatever. Someone there. Don't quote me on this, but I remember hearing this. People were saying, hey, you know, what about Nier Automata, because it's coming to Xbox, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it basically came down to like, hey, if you ask for it enough, we'll do it. So they're definitely not going to be coming out with Nier Automata. Right now, it's not going to be this port. It's going to take a while for that game to come out on the Switch.
Yeah, so fair enough. So my money's on Fallout 4. That's what my money's on. Yeah. That's what my money's on. I didn't think that's just what...
I might have to cop that if that's the case.
100%. Imagine playing that game on the go. Like, awesome. How much fun would that be? So moving on, we're gonna talk about this one, which this is really cliche. Reggie from Nintendo pretty much said that Nintendo has more to show weeks and months ahead. I mean, and it made big news. Did we really like? This is typical Nintendo, right? I mean, they already said we're going to be showing games for 2018 will be showed during the Direct, and then we will show future games later. I mean, let's just be honest. We're probably going to see a Yoshi release date, and maybe we'll see Metroid Prime. That's the one thing I want to see out of this one. 100%. If they do announce games later, I just want to see Metroid Prime. That's all I really want to see. Just give me Metroid Prime. That's it. Yeah,
man. Metroid. I hope to hear some news on that thing, man.
because yeah, Metroid Prime is a big one. And then also real quick before we get into the big juicy controversy, as you could say, Octopath Traveler won't receive any DLC. So Octopath Traveler is Square Enix. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's an exclusive game from Square Enix on the Nintendo Switch. It's a 2D looking traditional Japanese RPG with modern day RPG mechanics. So decisions that you make will change the outcome of the game. Certain players have certain roles they need to play to make decisions, things like that. But it also looks like you're still playing a Super Nintendo sort of RPG with sort of 3D aspects. Look it up. Everybody's seen it. If you haven't seen it, look it up. But they went ahead and said that there will be no DLC. So you have 8 protagonists and 50 to 60 hours of gameplay, and they are not going to milk this game, which I think is a great idea, because I think they really could if they wanted to, because Nintendo fans are already clamoring for this game. I know you're not a big JRPG fan, Salty, but this news, as far as them not milking the game and saying DLC's not coming, what you see is what you're gonna get. I think that's a really good trend, and I think it's really good.
As far as like DLC not coming, I don't know if that's a good thing. Like if it was like free DLC, that'd be cool. See, the difference is like a single player game versus multiplayer games, because there's been kind of a trend lately to not charge for DLC in multiplayer games like Battlefield and some other games. But with this type of game, I think it's definitely pro-consumer, that they're focusing on the main game, and they feel like there's enough content there, so they're not going to be coming out and trying to milk the more money out of the consumer. So
I mean, 50-60 hours of gameplay is quite a bit. I mean, that takes me back to the day of playing the Mario RPGs and the Chrono Triggers and the Final Fantasy 3 or 6, depending on the way you look at it. But Final Fantasy 3, like when I was younger, RPGs, I could put hours upon hours into those games. So for me, this game is going to be great. Like I said, if you're a traditional JRPG person, I think it'll be great for you. I just saw that news and I thought that was interesting, but we're going to get into the big controversy of the week. So June 12th, Nintendo Direct E3. They went ahead and announced the rumor. They went ahead and confirmed the rumor that we all thought was happening. We kept hearing about. Fortnite was announced for the Switch. Go out, download it. You can play it. And I believe they had how many downloads in like the first, how many hours? 2 million? 2 million downloads within the first few hours. And it's still, I'm sure it's still going up and going up. But either way, they had 2 million downloads in the first hour. They also announced that with this, there will be crossplay. You can crossplay with PC, mobile, or Xbox and Nintendo Switch. But come to find out, if you have a PlayStation or your Epic account is linked to your PSN account, you cannot participate in the crossplay. You cannot transfer any of your Epic stuff to the Switch or any other platform, whether that's PC or Xbox. And this had a lot of Sony fans upset. I cannot remember that dude's name right now for the life of me. Who's that big Sony guy that tweeted out? Greg Miller tweeted out that this was anti-consumer, it was not pro-consumer, and that he would be considering moving to the Xbox just to play Fortnite, which is big because he is a big Sony guy. And then ever since then, we've seen a bunch of fans come out saying this is stupid, we hate this, Sony, you got this wrong. And from what we've heard from Epic, really all it's gonna take is a flip of the switch to make this happen. So
yeah, well, I mean, they already did it,
right? And they already did it. Remember when the game first came out? So now all of a sudden, they came out. What was their quote again that they came out with a few days later about it? It was like it wasn't anything like.
They just said some dumb shit. They're like, oh, we're willing to listen to what you guys have to say, which they really aren't, because they're not going to change anything. And then they said that it was a messaging thing from Epic, that they didn't really tell people that it was account based and blah blah blah. So they passed the buck off to Epic and said it was their fault.
Right,
blah, blah, blah,
right.
You know?
Which is a bad look. I mean, if Epic comes out and says, "Look, it's not us," and it's proven that it's not them because they've done it with 3 of the 4 platforms. And
if you look at it this way, it's like Epic controls all the cards in this situation, because the game is a phenomenon, right? Everybody's reporting on it. Everybody's talking about it. News people that don't even talk about video games are talking about it.
Oh my gosh, it was on Fox News, remember? Like, not that long ago. They had Reggie from Nintendo on and trying to get him to smack talk Sony. And it was pretty funny. He wasn't having any of it. He just said, well, it's better for us, and we're focusing on us. And if Sony wants to do that, Sony wants to do that. And I think it's just funny nowadays that Nintendo is more open to crossplay than Sony.
So here's the deal. Like, this is the honest truth. At this point, Nintendo's more progressive than Sony, you know? So Nintendo's been traditionally steeped in their ways, and they don't want to do anything and change anything. We see that with their online situation and all this other stuff. But then they say yes to crossplay, and then they're doing all these things with Xbox, and we're seeing Minecraft there, and they're going back and forth.
And they're slowly starting to improve on their online now.
Slowly but surely. They have this partnership with a near $1 trillion company, and they have a really good relationship going there. And then there's Sony on the outside, who, if you take a poll about this situation, I would say about 90% of the people would say, yeah, Sony's not in the right here. You know, this is anti-consumer. But there is that 10% that, you know, ride and die with Sony, and then they'll defend them, whatever. But in the end, you know, Epic, it's on their servers. You know, Fortnite is on their servers, and they have their Epic accounts, and their service is tied to that Epic account. So, you know, if you want to keep your progression and all this other stuff, it's on that Epic account. And unfortunately, if you logged in at any point on PS4, you're locked out, and it goes vice versa. So if you made a Switch account and you did all your progression and you have a PS4 and you try to log on there, you're screwed. You're screwed both ways, you know, because a lot of people, I think they underestimate the fact that, so there's 80 million plus, you know, about 80 million PlayStation owners out there.
Right.
But how many of those PlayStation dudes have a Switch? A lot of them do.
A lot of them do, dude.
You know?
A lot.
So that's why it's such a big deal, because I've heard a lot of people say, well, oh, it's not a problem, I don't have a Switch, and that's for this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it might not affect you, but there's a lot of people that have both systems, and it does affect them, because they spent, you know, $50, $100, $200 on progression and microtransactions. And if that's not for you, that's fine, but it's for some people, because for some people, this game's the only game they play, you know? So it is what it is. It's big. It's big news. And it's probably the only time I've ever heard PlayStation hardcore people be upset with PlayStation and demand something change this big.
Right. So Victor says, who's really for the gamers? I mean, yes, every company is about their bottom line, but if I had to be honest, the one company that seems like they're more about the gamers right now, because they have to be, is Xbox, and what they're investing in. I feel like they are more so about gamers. And yes, this is me coming from a Nintendo guy. We already know that Nintendo is all about Nintendo, and they're going to make their money, and they know that their fans are going to just buy anything and everything that they put out. So they're not exactly 100% for fans, but they do have some good services. Sony, on the other hand, the same thing with Nintendo. Their fans are going to be hardcore about them. But right now, Xbox is, I feel like, is the most pro-consumer, gaming company out of the big three right now. That's just me personally. But back to this one, man. Let's just talk about real quick our experiences with the crossplay. Because day one, you played it on the Switch. Me and you were both playing on the Switch, and we were playing together, and then you said, man, I can't deal with the frame rate, this resolution, I gotta go to Xbox. And I was like, cool, let's try this crossplay thing. And bro, let them know like how seamless that was and how simple it was. Yes, you have an Epic account, but all you really have to do when you link your Epic account is get everybody's Epic name, and their Epic, the overlay on the screen almost looks like Xbox Live. It's kind of funny how that works. But how seamless was that, dude? Like, it was so seamless and easy to get in, and we were playing together, playing Fortnite, played a few games. The only thing we didn't get to try was the cross chat. That was the only thing we didn't get to try, which really was disappointing. We tried to do the chat a little bit the first day they announced it, and we couldn't hear each other. So I don't know if that got fixed, but other than that, like, elaborate on how seamless that was, dude, because it was awesome, and I'm excited about it, honestly.
Yeah, in order to start that, I just have to talk about my experience, because my wife, you know, I told you this before.
Yes, do touch on that.
She heard the news. She was excited. She likes Fortnite. She's not really a gamer, but she really likes Fortnite. So she downloaded Fortnite and started logging in. She didn't know it was like anything that had to do with Xbox or Nintendo or whatever. So it's like, oh, do you want to link your account? And she's like, well, I guess not. So she created a new one, and it created a big headache for me, because once you do that, you can't change it. You know, it's permanent. So I ended up having to delete my whole Nintendo account, create a new one. But long story short, I got it to work. But as far as talking about how easy it was actually shocking to me how easy it was to play with people on another platform. When I've envisioned cross-platform play, I don't know, I just had this idea that it was going to be difficult, you know. But with this, we got on. I was playing on my Switch handheld mode. We logged, you know, we were teaming up. We were playing. It's kind of hurting my hands for some reason, because I'm not used to the smaller controller or the sticks or something.
Yes.
So then I got off, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to get on Xbox. I got on. I added you on the Epic account, and I actually joined your party from Xbox. And then boom, we're going. And then what the cool part about it is all my stuff is there. So if you don't know about Fortnite, they have this battle pass, and you play and you do these challenges to get emotes, skins, sprays, everything else. And you go through these seasons, just like some other games. All my stuff is there, all my skins, all my emotes, and then all my progression transfers over. So if I'm playing portable on my Switch or on my Xbox, everything's there. And then if I want to play with Nick, if he's playing on Nintendo, it's easy, you know. So it's basically it's perfect the way it is, you know. It's awesome. I love it. I hope they do this with lots of other games going forward.
100%. I think this right here, Epic, is, because I said this quote because Epic is causing a lot of issues for Sony right now. A lot of people, and unintentionally. I remember on a video talking about, my buddy Smash GT posted a video about the controversy, and I said, who would have thought that Epic Games would have been the one to pretty much make Sony look bad finally? Like, Epic Games of all people with Fortnite. Who would have thought that Fortnite would have been the game? But heck, I guess it's so big it was that game. But like, I feel like what Epic is doing, they're pretty much shutting down, pretty much they're shutting up all the haters at this point, because there were so many people that said crossplay can't work. How are you gonna get it to work? You can't cross chat, you can't chat or do any of this stuff. And Epic said, oh yeah, well, watch us, we're doing it. They made it work. They made voice chat possible on the Switch, which is another thing I would love to touch upon, because that's a different subject. But
real quick though, I'm getting back to these rumors. People literally told me, like PlayStation like fanboys, they said, oh, you know, crossplay doesn't make sense for PlayStation because Xbox would require them to sign up for an Xbox Live account. And I was like, nah, that doesn't sound right. And they're like, oh, there's articles about it. And it's like, okay, this proves that that's bullshit.
Yeah, 100%. Because really what happened is Nintendo and these companies said, okay, we will allow crossplay, but guess what? It's on you guys. The onus is on you. And Epic said, okay, we got this. We'll just put everything under one banner under the Epic account. Everything carries over from your Epic account to each platform, whether that's mobile, Xbox, PC, or the Switch. Your battle pass carries over. We'll put it all under one banner. We'll even have dedicated voice chat for our specific servers, which now makes voice chat possible on the Switch without that stupid app, which is a different subject. But it seems like this could possibly be a breakthrough as far as the future of gaming goes. At least to me, this is huge to me, because I mean, I'm 30. I'm almost 30. You're how old are you, Salt? 30, 31, 30?
Early 30s. Yeah.
Okay, so Salt is like early 30s. We could only imagine this being younger. The crossplay capabilities of playing with our buddies that had a GameCube or an Xbox or a PlayStation 2. We could only think about that. And I remember thinking, man, that would have been so cool if we could crossplay, but why do I always have to get these consoles just to play with my buddies? Now it's starting to happen, starting to come together. I feel like this is a breakthrough, not only for Epic Games because it's huge for them, but this is a breakthrough for gaming, period. It really is. And I mean, and we're going to see more and more of this. I think everybody's going to see this example that Epic has, whether it's high res, whether that's I can't even think of any of the companies right now, but or the Rocket Leagues and games like that want to have crossplay. They're going to look at this and say, okay, if they can do it this way, we can also implement that.
Yep.
And I think it's huge for gaming. It really is.
It is big, and I think people underestimate how big it is, because going forward, people will use this model, like you said, servers, accounts, and see how easy it's been implemented. And this is huge going forward for player bases, because online games like Fortnite that are multiplayer focused, that require to have player bases to get these matches going, so there's not a long wait. It helps improve those player bases, so longer down the line, if the game's kind of dwindling in numbers, you have 2 systems to count on, or 3 or 4, like the player bases, the pool is bigger, so
right.
It's a good thing, man. It's good for gaming.
It really is good. It really is good. I am excited to see how this goes forward. I'm excited to see these games coming forward, because I mean, E3 had a ton of games announced. There's so many games coming out. Rest in peace, my wallet. I mean, from whether it's Smash, the Fallout 76 in 2019, the Anthem, Division, Destiny's coming out in September with their new stuff, bruh. Like 2018 and 2019 is fixing to be I think one of the best years in gaming ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah,
and I am so excited for it. I mean, real quick, like, just let people know real quick, like, what are you looking forward to playing the most this year, and then we'll get out of here.
Let's see. So basically, at the end of this year, we got a ton of games coming out that I'm looking forward to. The new Pokemon game I'm looking forward to. Smash. What else is coming out at the end of this year? See, it all mixes together, So
right.
February's Red Dead 2. Obviously, that's coming out. What else? Rage 2. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Anthem, Crackdown 3, the new Division 2.
Much.
So it's just I had a list on Twitter, and it was probably like 25 games. It's crazy. It's like unreal. I don't know. Honestly, I said I'm gonna have to sell a kidney to get all these games.
Real talk, man. I mean, whether it's the Switch, Sony, or Xbox, like or even these third-party games, like there is so many games, and I really have to sit down and make a list, and like I'll have to put tier 1. These are day 1 buys, and like make a whole list and put it up on my wall, just so I can remember which games to buy and when, because it is going to be a great year in gaming, dude. I'm thrilled. I cannot wait for Smash Brothers. I cannot wait for Pokemon. I cannot wait for the Division. I cannot wait for Destiny. I cannot wait for Fallout, Anthem. I'm a big BioWare guy, so I'm ready for that. I mean, it's just too much. Just too much. So anyway, that's going to do it for the podcast. I wanted to keep this one short. I want to do something real quick. It's Father's Day. I didn't want to keep everybody here. I know people have to spend time with their families for Father's Day. Shout out to Avedon, my man. Thanks for stopping by. Victor, Alexander, Ryuko, thank you. I know Jay Fonz was in here for a little bit. The homie Retzi was here. Lil Will stopped by real quick. Thank you all. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate every single one of you. And shout out to the homie Saltiest Gaming. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, we've been good friends since 2015. Destiny brought us together. Yeah. And ever since then, we've been playing games forever. You are the homie. I appreciate you. Real quick, let the people know in the chat who you are, where they can find you, what you do, everything like that. Just let them know real quick.
Saltiest Gaming is the name on YouTube's 2 words. I do gaming videos on the daily. My channel is an Xbox centric channel, but it's kind of spreading into all areas of gaming. So that's kind of the transition there. I don't think it's going to be an Xbox centric channel, but it's not going to be as focused as it was before. So we're kind of spreading out there, and I'm getting some new professional artwork done for the channel, and have some things planned for the channel, via some other surprises. So stay tuned to that. We have the Saltiest Gaming podcast every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Nick was a part of the Saltiest podcast, and he was part of the Dads of Gaming podcast
back in the day.
Earlier than that.
Oh my goodness.
Now that was the beginning of all this stuff, because this all started, a little over a year ago, before E3 last year, and it's kind of developed into what it is right now. Almost have 2,000 subscribers, so it's just moving real quick. I'm very happy for the way things are going, and I'm glad we're both doing this and getting to talk about the things that we're passionate about.
100%.
So yeah, just doing my thing, grinding, doing that shit.
Yes.
Check me out on Twitter, Saltiest Gaming, the Eyes of One. I'm very active on social media, so yeah, hit me up there. I'm on Nintendo, but I don't know what my code is or whatever. And
it's all good.
So yeah, Xbox Live, Saltiest Gaming. Thanks for having me on. It was a good episode, good short episode.
Yes, I wanted to keep it short. Like I said, it's Father's Day. I'm gonna go ahead and post There's his Twitter right there. Check him out. That's posted there. His channel's linked in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and copy paste that real quick. Put that there. So there you go. 2 links there. Click on those, sub and follow. Salty, like I said, is my homie. I'm not pretending. He's literally a good friend. We have been gaming forever. Sometimes you get a lot of people are like, oh, that's my good buddy. We've been friends for a while, and like literally only had like one conversation. That's how that happens sometimes when you do podcasts with people. But for real, this is one of my best friends. So I appreciate you coming by, dude. I really do.
Hey, real quick, shout out to Nick for literally walking me through how to do a layout on OBS. So hit this man up if you want to pay him to help you out. I don't know if he wants to do that, but dang, he helped me out a lot, and I appreciate it. He's a good guy. So
yes,
yeah.
Sir.
Sub to his channel, hit that like button, hit the bell icon.
Yes, sir. Share it. So, yes, my name is Nicktendo Direct. You're here. You guys know who I am. You're a sub to the channel. Like I said, sub to Salty. Like I said, once again, everybody in the chat, like I said, it's a holiday, and you guys made this worthwhile. Doing a podcast on Sundays isn't 100% ideal, but this is like my only day off of work. So this is when I have to do it. So like I said, once again, appreciate you guys. Is it me or is Nabby saying, hey, yeah, that's part of the track in the background, Rico? So yes, but either way, you guys are the greatest. I really do appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for stopping by. Episode 4 will be next week. We will see you guys later.